What is a squad really? And who leads these squads?
So a squad is an amalgamation of players from grade 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And the way in which those players are chosen are by their captains and managers. But those captains and managers are selected by the school sports teacher based on their attitude and inclusivity throughout the year in the sports coaching program. So once they've been selected, then those captains and managers are part of this picking process. And they pick students to be part of their squads based on the skills and the different elements that they're going to bring to their squad. Not just because that person is good at sports, but maybe because they have a skill in design, maybe because they're great at helping build team togetherness. And once they've built that squad, then they start to build their identity.
Why are things like dance, costume making, logo design, speech writing, etc. included in the sports day? Surely they are not part of the sports.
So they are actually a part of our sports day, and we place such emphasis on them because they offer a wonderful opportunity to make sports day way more inclusive. So normally sports day is only for those who are really interested in sports, but here sports day becomes about the community of the entire key stage, and that people who are good at dance, people who are good at logo making, people who are good at costumes, all have an opportunity to actually win points for their squad on the sports day. So that in order to do well, you need people from all different types of walks of life. And that really makes the students value the skills that everyone can bring and makes everyone look forward to sports day with that same anticipation.
How does this point system work?
Okay, so the reason we wanted to actually make these things part of the point structure was that if we didn't put points on them, they wouldn't be valued. So students wouldn't really think that making a costume is important. So students can gain points from winning an individual game. They can gain points for things like fair play throughout the day, some points for their costume making, and even points for things like speech writing. Because over the course of the day or the 2 days in which it takes place, the squad can constantly see the running total of the different ways that their squad is competing against others, and that they also start to realize that it's not just about them winning the sports, it's about so much more. So the squad that really wins is the one that's inclusive in all different ways.
How many days would the students need to be prepared for the sports day?
So from the very beginning of the process up until the sports day, it probably takes about 5 days. So from 5 days in advance, you'd start needing to put away a little bit of time aside for students to come together as a squad, determine their identity, and go through all those different steps of making their costumes and all these different things that add up to the final day itself. Because if you just start a day or two before, students won't have the opportunity to develop those other elements or bring that sense of energy. Giving that 5 days also helps build anticipation, so that by the time the sports day comes around, students are raring to go.
Do teachers actually take part in the sports day? You mean to say they all play alongside the students on the sports day?
So it's actually vital that the teachers play alongside their students in the sports day. So one of the reasons for this is that students see teachers in a totally different light, and teachers see students in a totally different light when they play alongside each other on the sports day. There's no sense of hierarchy, that they can really build a strong relationship, and that there's a wonderful sense of community that's built not just among the students, but among all stakeholders within the school.
What is the teacher's role throughout the planning and culmination of the sports day?
So the teachers actually have a much more vital role than merely just playing alongside. So when they start the process, the teachers are selected to be part of each individual squad. So there's 2 teachers per squad. So what they do is they observe the dynamic within that squad and see how are they progressing. Are they really listening to each other? Are they really gaining an insight from their leader? How is the session being facilitated by the captain or manager? And then they provide feedback to the captain or manager, and also they help to make sure that people are keeping on track in terms of making costumes, that people are not just roaming around, but they actually focus on doing those individual tasks. And then this also helps them become more part of the team. By the time the sports day comes around, they've also done the chant, they've also been involved with the costume making, so that they really feel as if they're a part of things. And then on the day itself, they play just alongside every other student.